Welcome back, my dear students. After you have learned the new words in the poem, the word fluff, puffed up, the word narrator, and the word stink. These are the words that you learned before. After you mastered these words, we're gonna now start with the poem itself. The poem is called The Youngest. It's reading time. Let's read the poem. But what is the meaning of the word poem? Let's see. What is a poem? A poem is a piece of work in which the expression of feelings and ideas are written in regular lines. What's the meaning of regular lines? We will see now, after a while, with rhythm. Rhythm means the music you can hear when you read the poem. You feel that there is a special music for each poem, and this is called the rhythm. And there is an imaginary too in poems. Imaginary. Do you remember, my dear students, the metaphors and the similes, the sentences that can help you draw pictures in your mind while you read? These are the metaphoric language, or we call it the imaginary in each poem. This is an example. This is a poem, an example of a poem. Once I saw a little bird. Once I saw a little bird. Come, hop, hop, hop. I cried, little bird, will you stop, stop, stop? Can you listen to the rhythm, the music in the poem? Now, each poem should have a rhythm. Okay, let's continue. Can you see the regular lines? This is a line, this is another line, and this is another line. These are regular lines. Okay, they have imaginary in them. Now, let's continue and see. I was going to the window. Try to close your eyes and imagine what am I reading for you. Close your eyes, my dear student, and listen. I was going to the window to say, how do you do? But he shook his little tail, and away he flew. Did you imagine the picture he drew, the author drew? The poet, he drew this picture. Okay. Now, also, in each poem, we have rhyming words. Rhyming words are just like the words, you know, cat, mat, hat, fat. These words are rhyming words. And in this poem, we have hop, stop, do, flew, ooh, ooh. Well, this is an example poem just to remind you what does the word poem mean. Let's go to the other slide and let's listen to our poem. Our poem is on page 51 in our student book, Colin. Okay, now I just want you to listen. Listen carefully. Watch the video and listen. My dear students, I want you to listen twice to the poem and listen carefully because I will ask you questions about what you will listen now.
The youngest. I'm the youngest in our house, so it goes like this. My brother comes in and says, tell him to clear the fluff out from under his bed. And Mum says, clear the fluff out from under your bed. Father says, you heard what your mother said. What? I said. The fluff, he says. Clear the fluff out from under your bed. So I say, there's fluff under his bed too, you know. So Father says, but we're talking about the fluff under your bed. You will clear it up, won't you? Mum says. So now my brother, all puffed up, says, "Clear the fluff out from under your bed, clear the fluff out from under your bed." Now I'm angry. I am angry. So I say, what shall I say? I say, "Shut up, stinks! You can't rule my life."
Well,
The youngest. I'm the youngest in our house. So it goes like this. My brother comes in and says, "Tell him to clear the fluff out from under his bed." And Mum says, "Clear the fluff out from under your bed." Father says, "You heard what your mother said." "What?" I said. "The fluff," he says. "Clear the fluff out from under your bed." So I say, "There's fluff under his bed too, you know." So Father says, "But we're talking about the fluff under your bed." "You will clear it up, won't you?" Mum says. So now my brother, all puffed up, says, "Clear the fluff out from under your bed, clear the fluff out from under your bed." Now I'm angry. I am angry. So I say, what shall I say? I say, "Shut up, stinks! You can't rule my life."
we listened or we watched the video twice, 2 times. And after we watched the video, now we can answer these questions. Question number 1, who is the narrator of the poem? I don't want you to give me his name. I want you to tell me, is he the eldest in his family? Is he mom? Is he dad? Or is he, I don't know. You have to tell me the answer. Okay. Write the answer in your classwork notebook, please. Question number 2. What is the narrator's only problem? What do you think? What is his only problem? Remember, the title of our unit is The Only Problem Is. And of course, the narrator of this poem, or he is the poet, let's say, the writer of the poem, we call him the poet. He has a problem. What is his only problem? Can you guess it? Please, when you finish, write the answer in your classwork notebook. Okay, now after you edit your answers, open your booklets, page 23, read the questions carefully and answer them. Now, let's watch this video. Watch it carefully because there are some other questions about it.
The youngest. I'm the youngest in our house. So it goes like this. My brother comes in and says, "Tell him to clear the fluff out from under his bed." And Mum says, "Clear the fluff out from under your bed."
Let's go to the questions. Question number 1. Who says, "Tell him to clear the fluff out from under his bed"? Who says this? Write the answer in your classwork notebook, please. Question number 2. Why does Mom ask the narrator to clear the fluff? Let's think together. There might be more than one answer. Are there anything under his bed? Did anybody ask her to do so? I don't know. Write the answer that you think is correct in your classwork notebook. Thank you. Well, let's watch the second part of the poem and do the questions after it.
Father says, "You heard what your mother said." What? I said. The fluff, he says. Clear the fluff out from under your bed. So I say, there's fluff under his bed too, you know. So father says, but we're talking about the fluff under your bed. You will clear it up, won't you? Mum says.
Well, after you have listened to the second part of the poem, I want you to answer these questions. Question number 1. Does father want the narrator to clear the fluff under his brother's bed? Read carefully, not under his bed, under his brother's bed. Remember, my dear students, when my question starts with the word does or do, or it doesn't start with a WH question, with a WH word, my answer should start with a yes or no. Again, the question is, does father want the narrator to clear the fluff from under his brother's bed? Question number 2. To whom does the pronoun his refer to? Please open your columns, student book, page 51, and count the lines. Go to line 16. Go to line 16. I'll give you time to count now. Line 16. You will find the word his. Could you please tell me to whom it will refer, or to whom does it refer? Write the answer in your classwork notebook, please, my dear student. And now let's go to the third part. Listen to the video and watch it.
So now my brother, all puffed up, says, clear the fluff out from under your bed, clear the fluff out from under your bed. Now I'm angry. I am angry. So I say, what shall I say? I say, shut up, stinks. You can't rule my life.
Well, this is the end of the poem. I think it's interesting. I'm sure you enjoyed it. But before we finish, we have to answer the questions as usual. Question number 1. Why do you think his brother is puffed up now? Remember the first part of the story and tell me, why do you think his brother is puffed up? Please write the answer in your notebook. Question number 2. Who can't rule the narrator's life? To whom is he speaking? After you write the questions in your notebook, now I want you to pause this video or to go back to the video before and listen to the narrator himself, and listen carefully, then practice reading expressively. Read in the same way you listened. Okay, I want you to read the poem 3 times, okay, because I want you to be a super reader, my dear student. Okay, after you have finished practicing reading, please, my dear student, open your student book, page 52. Don't forget to write the date as usual, miss. Now, answer the questions. These are the questions, and this is page 52 in your book. Let's read question number 1. Let's read it together. Do you feel sorry for anyone in this poem? Who and why? Do you feel sorry? Do you feel that he feels sad? There's something unfair happens to him. Do you feel sorry for him? Okay. Okay, who? If you feel sorry. Okay, to whom you're feeling sorry? For whom? And why do you feel sorry towards him? Does something wrong happened in the poem? Something that shouldn't happen? I don't know, miss. Please write your answer in your classwork notebook and take your time to think and write. Let's go now to question number 2. Do you think it was fair that everyone kept asking the narrator to clear the fluff out from under his bed? Imagine that you are the narrator. Put yourself in his shoes. Okay, if you were the narrator and somebody comes and give you an order and other one comes and gave you the same order, the same one, and another member of the family came and gave you the same order. They kept giving you the same order, the same order, the same order. Will you feel happy? Is it fair to do so? Is it fair for him? Question number 3. Do you think the poem is funny? Is it funny? Do you like it? Did you laugh when you hear it? If so, in which part? Can you give me a special part that you felt it is the funniest part? Write it down, please. Now, question number 4. Do you think the poem is realistic? But what does the word realistic mean? Realistic means real. It happens in real life. Okay. Can a poem or can events like this that are mentioned in the poem, can they happen in real life? Do you think this is what means realistic? Do you think the poem is realistic? Well, after you write your answer, let's go to the next question, which is question number 5. Why do you think the narrator is so cross? Cross means angry, angry, okay? He's angry at the end of the poem. Why is he angry? Why is he cross? Does something bad happen to him? Would you be cross if you were him? If you were in his shoes, would you be cross also? Or you will behave in another way? It's up to you. Feel free to write whatever you want. Think carefully and jot down your answer in your classwork notebook. Well, then, let's go to the next question. What else could the narrator have said at the end of the poem? Now, the narrator said something at the end of the poem. He said, shut up, Stinks. You can't rule my life. Okay, that was the narrator's answer to his brother. If you were the narrator and the same thing happened to you, would you respond? Would you answer with the same sentence, or you will say something else? Okay, I want you to express yourself. Write your answer in your classwork notebook and feel free to write anything you like, okay? Well, let's see the other questions. Has anything like this ever happened in your family? Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know, it's up to you. Take turns to tell your partner about it. And choose one of your stories to tell the whole class. You can tell your story to your mom, to your dad, to your sisters or brothers, as you like. Think of these 2 questions. They are questions 7 and 8. And share them with anybody you like. Okay. And now, please, I think that you have finished writing the answers in your classwork notebook. Thank you very much, and we will go back to the guide as I promised you to give you some model answers. Let's see. Let's see the model answers. Okay. We're gonna start from this slide. I'm sure you remember this slide. In the first video that we learned the new words in. Of course, when you want to write any sentence, you have to remember that it contains a subject, a verb, and a complement. Remember the subject-verb agreement. If your subject is singular, don't forget to add S for your verb. Of course, your answers will vary. That means each one of you, my dear students, have a different sentence. Not all of you have the same sentence. Now let's go to these slides. The slides, if you remember, when you watched the videos, about the poem, the man who was reading or narrating the poem, I asked you some questions about each part of the poem. In the slide number 23, the narrator, I asked you who was the narrator of the poem. The narrator of the poem is the youngest boy is in his family. This is the correct answer. Okay. And the second question is, the narrator's only problem is that he is the youngest in his family. Please open your booklets, page 23, and be sure that you answered the two questions in this way. Now, my student, my dear student, now open your booklet and make sure, page 23, make sure that these are your answers. Well, let's go to the questions about the first part of the poem. Okay, let's see. Question number one, the narrator's brother says so. He asked his mom to tell his brother to clear the fluff out from under his bed. Okay. The second question was, why did mom ask the narrator to clear the fluff out from under his bed? The answer is, she did so. She asked the narrator to clear the fluff out from under his bed because her elder son asked her to do so. Well, the other slide is, let's see. Let me minimize the font to see. Well, why was his brother all puffed up? He was all puffed up because his mother and father asked the narrator, who's the youngest in the family, to clear up the fluff out from under his bed. Here we need the letter S, his bed, exactly as he wants them to do. Okay, let's see the other question. Okay. Well, let's see. Okay, this is the answer of the second question. Okay, the narrator's elder brother can't rule his life. Okay, so this is the answer of the second question. It was, who can't rule his life. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, the answers of the questions in your student book, page 52. Please open your book to see the questions and check your answers. Of course, you can answer in your own way. I suppose that each of you will give me a different answer, but these are, let's say, model answers, or your answers can be as the following, okay? Well, question number 1, do you feel sorry for anyone in this poem? Who and why? Yes, I do. I feel sorry for the narrator because everyone kept giving him orders all the time, and they didn't do the same thing with his elder brother. They didn't ask his brother to clear up the fluff from under his bed, although there is fluff. Well, question number 2 is, do you think it was fair that everyone kept asking the narrator to clear the fluff out from under his bed? The answer is, or it can be, no, I don't think it was fair. Number 3, look at question number 2 before we move to question 3. They didn't ask us why because of this. I didn't write because, okay? It was just a yes-no question. Okay, now question number 3. Well, the question is, do you think the poem is funny? If so, which parts are the funniest? Okay, yes, I think it is funny, especially in the part where his brother stood all puffed up and started teasing him. Do you remember? Clear the fluff out from under your bed. Okay, maybe this is the funniest to me. Maybe you have another part which is funny. You consider it funnier than this. It's up to you. Let's go to question number 4. Do you think the poem is realistic? Yes, I do. The answer is yes, I do. Because it can happen in some families, so it is realistic. Okay. Question number 5. Why do you think the narrator is so cross at the end of the poem? Would you be cross? I think he is so cross because everyone kept giving him orders. Now tell me about yourself. Would you be cross? If so, say, yes, I would. And if no, say, no, I wouldn't. Okay, now let's move to question number 6. What else could the narrator have said at the end of the poem? With your partner, think of a new ending. Oh, the new ending could be the narrator could say, stop it. Because he kept teasing him. He kept saying, repeating the same word, the same sentence for him. So he could just stop him. Stop it. He can tell him, or else I will tell my mom and dad. Anything. You can write anything. It's up to you. Okay. Now questions 7 and 8. Of course, the answers will be different. They will vary because each of you, my dear students, has his own or her own story. Well, by this, we come to the end of our lesson. I hope you enjoyed the class and I hope you understood the poem. I wish you all luck. Thank you very much.